Hey everyone, this is King Origin Reviews here. Good morning and good afternoon to you to everybody. Yes, so today in this video, we're just gonna be watching two videos on YouTube that's about hold up. There we go, an English author Roald Dahl. Yeah, we'll be watching two interview videos from the BBC that features him about Roald Dahl. Yeah. I do know about Roald Dahl. Yeah, he's one of my favorite authors. Yeah, I love him as a kid. I read his books. Well, almost. I do know that he writes books for children and adults. I think he has a TV series called Tales of the Unexpected, which I'll be reacting to it one day. But for now, we'll be watching two videos featuring him in his interviews called Roald Dahl's Writing Shed. A video from the series Pebble Millet one from 1982. And the other one, which I'll be watching too, is called Roald Dahl's short film from Going Live. Yeah, but now let's watch the first one, starting now. Yeah, there's a shed, his home.
The man who lives in this house makes very good orange marmalade. He also breeds orchids. He has never eaten a dish of tripe in his life, and he wishes that his dog could speak to him. And that eccentric sequence of autobiographical irrelevancies may even give you a clue as to who he is. He's Roald Dahl, of Norwegian and Welsh origins, and by now probably the most widely read author of children's books in the entire world. Titles like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, Danny the Champion of the World, and most recently, the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant. They're the sort of books that have brought him such a worldwide readership that he's reputed to spend £200 a month on postage alone, just answering the letters from his young readers.
Yeah.
All right, Hilary, what have we got this morning?
Well, we have an enormous book here from a school in Norfolk. And a lot of pictures and letters as well.
Well, that's super, isn't it?
Okay, sorry about another pause, everyone, but yeah, let's continue.
This book here from a school in Norfolk. And a lot of pictures and letters as well.
Well, that's super, isn't it?
Dahl's books for children have made him immensely famous and rich. A children's bestseller goes on selling and on and on, and he's had several. It's his mixture of the quirky, the bizarre, and sometimes downright shocking that children love.
Hello, gorgeous Anita.
Hello.
And all the brilliant children who sent me such lovely pictures and letters.
Yes.
And they adore the way he takes their side in his books and letters, and the way he steers them deliciously close to the wickedly unconventional and rude.
All right, Hilary, we've done the letters. Here's a bit more manuscript for you.
Adult readers know Roald Dahl from his collections of short stories, many of which formed the hugely successful television series Tales of the Unexpected.
Yeah.
Roald Dahl is 66 now, 40 years a writer, and his first publication was something of a patriotic effort.
There he is.
Oh, that was in the war. After I'd finished my RAF flying and I was sent to Washington. I was sitting in the British Embassy and in a little man poked his head round the door with thick glasses and said, "May I come in?" And I thought he was looking for a job. And he said, "My name is C.S. Forrester."
Oh, indeed.
And I thought, no, come on, steady on. Rubbish, he's one of my heroes. He said, "Honestly, it is." And he came in and he said, "I've been asked to do a piece about some action in the war, and you've just come out of the RAF and you were shot down and all that. And the Americans weren't in the war then, and we were trying to do a lot of British propaganda and stuff." He said, "Come out to lunch with me and tell me the most exciting thing that happened to you. And I'll write it, and it'll be published in the Saturday Evening Post, and it'll be very good for Britain." So we went to lunch, and we were eating a roast duck, and Forrester was trying to take notes and eat the duck at the same time, and he couldn't, and I could see he couldn't, and I said, "Look, would you like me to jot this down for you this evening, and I'll send it off, and you can put it right." And he said, "Oh, that would be marvelous." And so I did, and I sent it off.
Okay.
And a week later I got a letter back from him with a check for $1,000 saying I haven't touched a word. It was wonderful and they want more. So that's how I started. I spent the ensuing 20 years, or 25, just writing short stories for adults. Nothing else. And then I began to have my own children and tell them stories in bed, the usual thing, you know. And I probably ran out of a plot for a short story. And I was telling one to my small children in bed, and there was one they seemed to rather like about a peach that got bigger and bigger
Yeah.
as it grew on the tree.
Yeah, I do know.
And I thought, well, by
read that
golly,
book.
why don't I have a go at writing this myself? Nothing else to do. So I sat down and had a go. I enjoyed it enormously. I found myself loving doing it, you know.
And that became James and the Giant Peach?
Yes.
In 1953, Roald Dahl married the Hollywood actress Patricia Neal. They had 5 children and cruel misfortune. Patricia suffered 3 dreadful strokes. Dahl spent years of his life restoring her to full health. One of their children, Olivia, died of measles when she was 7.
Yeah,
Dahl
I know.
himself has
I've
had
heard
several
about that.
operations on his hips and spine. But through all this adversity, he has remained sufficiently disciplined to spend 4 hours each day in his writing hut at the top of the garden.
I couldn't possibly work in the house, especially when there used to be a lot of children around, and even when there aren't children, there are vacuum cleaners and people bustling about. No, I always write in this little hut.
Yeah.
I always have. It is absolutely quiet up here.
Yeah, it's where he works to write books. Looks
It may not be pretty
very good.
or tidy, and it certainly hasn't been cleaned, and the floor hasn't been swept for 5 years at least. So it's full of everything. The only thing I did remove about 2 years ago, we had a goat that got in, and there was some goat droppings on the floor, and I thought, well, I better get a dustpan and sweep those up, and I did.
I know, he's getting down.
I've taken a great deal of trouble with the actual chair I sit in, and the place I put my feet, which is tied to the legs of the chair so I don't shove it away when I press my feet against it. Also in the winter I get into a sleeping bag, and that's right up to my chest. Keep the feet warm, the legs warm.
And he's sharpening his pencils for writing.
And I always use 6 pencils, and they always have to be sharpened before I start. Finally you get settled. You get into a sort of nest and get really comfortable.
Yeah, he's pouring coffee.
And then you're away.
Pouring coffee in a cup.
The pencil doesn't very often touch the paper.
Yeah, in the case of
it's looking and musing and correcting, and then you do a little writing, and in the end you get something done. But your concentration is fairly intense. You're lost. You're into this world of the story that you happen to be doing. It's terrifically demanding, you know. What do I write? 4.5 hours a day. So a quarter of my waking hours, I am completely immersed in a dotty world of fantasy. And you come out, you know, in a kind of moony state. To my mind, I don't think there's any question that to write a children's book of comparable quality to a fine adult novel or story is more difficult. It's much more difficult to achieve the children's book.
Now, why is that?
Goodness knows.
Do you have to put yourself in their minds? Or is that the wrong way
Yes,
to
you
approach
do. You see, when you're old enough and experienced enough to be a competent writer, and you're ready to write a book for children, because a young person can't do it. A child can't do it. By then you become pompous and adult, grown up, and you've lost all your jokiness. You don't have any and so unless you are a kind of undeveloped adult, and you still have an enormous amount of childishness in you, and you giggle at funny stories and jokes and things, I don't think you can do it.
Another of the things one hears about writing for children, and I'd love to know whether it's a myth or not, is that children are very severe critics.
Well, I think they take the books far more seriously than adults. Yeah, if you read a novel, a goodish novel, you read it, you enjoy it, you put it down. And that's it. Then you go look for the next one. If a child picks up a book and likes it, that's not the end of it, you know. It's read at least 4, 5, and sometimes 15 times, and each time it's got to stand up to that. Sooner or later, some of them finish by knowing them by heart.
A rural vantage point in a small home counties village hasn't restricted Dahl's vision. His wide-ranging interests, from the domestic to the romantic, contribute hugely to the pleasure of reading his books. His stories are like his life, full of offbeat bits of colour and knowledge. He's about as near as you'll find to a 20th century Renaissance man.
Oh, I think someone's playing the piano. I see what he's doing by climbing up the ledge of the tree.
And inside that head there's a controlled kaleidoscope of riotous imagination, immense literary skill, and most important of all to him, the sheer enjoyment of living.
I love pictures, and I've always collected pictures, even when I couldn't afford to buy them. And now I have some good ones, lovely ones. I love wine, and have several thousand bottles in the cellar.
Yeah. Okay, sorry if there's another cut to everyone, but yeah. I think this interview's getting interesting. And yeah, Roald Dahl talks about like what he's doing and all, and I noticed he has a cigarette in his hand. I know. Even though like I know that smoking isn't good for your lungs, but he just seems to enjoy it anyway while he's working and sitting down. But yeah, let's continue.
And have several thousand bottles in the cellar. I love furniture, especially 18th century English furniture. I love cultivating plants, especially orchids. A lot of things, you know. I think nearly everyone, every sane and semi-intelligent person likes those sort of things.
Oh, the playing pool, those cue balls.
We have a good snooker table in the house.
Yeah, I've played a bit of it before.
We play 3 times a week, and that's played with my local friends.
Oh,
Sunday's a long session. I mean, we start at 6:30, 4 of us.
Okay, that's nice.
And we finish about 11. And someone brings in some sausages in the middle. That's lovely, snooker. I mean, it is so difficult to play, you see. And what infuriates all of us, and I think especially me, is it's one thing that you cannot get really good at, however hard you try, unless you are supremely gifted, born with it.
It's so good to see them, even Roald Dahl, playing a game.
You're very successful.
Cue
Why do
ball.
you still write? You don't need to presumably work anymore.
Oh, I love it. I love it, yes. I don't know what I'd do without having something to work and worry about all day.
You've been telling the children who write to you that you're now 66, you're getting old and you're feeling old, and if I may say so, you're not looking old, you're looking as if you're going to go on forever.
No, I feel very ancient.
When eventually you do finally have to give up or want to give up, whichever comes first.
When I die.
When you die?
Yeah.
Is there any particular way in which you want to have been remembered? Say by a child who turns into an adult?
Well, you can quote Oscar Wilde and say, "When I am gone, I hope it will be said, my sins were scarlet, but my books were red."
Oh, wow. Oh, and that's it. Oh, it's just that TV rep. So nice of how the BBC like shows Roald Dahl being interviewed, and it's really good to see this about what he's doing in his for what he's doing as a children's author, I know. But okay, guys. That was kind of actually really good. And now let's go to the next one. This video is about him and an interview video. It's a short film from Going Live, but yeah, let's go.
Right into the way the film was made. You had a...
I'm going to read you a story now.
Good, I like story time.
All right.
Okay, guys, and now I'm watching a video. Oh, and I think I noticed there's a BBC prisoner. I think it's supposed to be Philip Schofield or something. I don't know, but I know some people don't like him because of some bit of controversies around him. But yeah, I do know what's going on when I looked him up, but I'm just not going to go into any more information. But yeah, but he's got some sort of a book by that Roald Dahl wrote. So yeah, let's just begin this. Let's continue.
I'm going to read you a story now.
Good, I like story time.
All right. Are you sitting comfortably?
Oh,
Then you are sitting comfortably. Then I'll begin. Right. Here is a very, very important little book. Okay. We have a story all about Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, one of my favourites. He's one of my favourites, yes.
Me too.
Have a look at this.
Yep, Matilda.
Once upon a time, in a large white house deep in the country, there lived an old man who wrote stories. He wrote about everything from giants to witches. You might think he'd be the kind of man who was cross and grumpy and lived alone. But no, he had a wife, children, and 2 dogs, and he was always very friendly.
Oh, hello. I've been expecting you. Come with me and I'll show you round.
Alright then.
This is my little workout here. It's up at the top of the gardens, and I've been here about 40 years, I think, and
Oh, okay.
I think I've written just about all my children's books in here. It's lovely and quiet, and well, you couldn't possibly work in the house with all the vacuum cleaners and things. So this is where I go. Every morning and every evening.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice place. You go.
You mustn't expect it to be tidy in here. It's never swept out or dusted, because no one's allowed to come up here to do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm the only person who ever comes in to my little workout.
Oh, okay.
And every morning I sit down and I get myself really comfortable like this. That is the right slope for my writing board, which I put there.
Yeah, writing board.
My light on.
Yeah, putting a light lamp on.
I sharpen my pencils.
Yeah, but
first.
I know, and he's got his glasses on. Just...
Funny little thing that I've had for years. It always works. I put them in that. Pour myself a bit of coffee.
Yeah, that's very nice. Putting coffee or tea by pouring in the cup for drinking.
Well, there's all sorts of funny things that have gathered on this table beside me here over the years. For example, this, believe it or not, was one of my own hip bones, which was sawed off my hip because of there's osteoarthritis. And when they saw that off, they then put that in its place.
Oh.
It's called a prosthesis.
Prosthesis.
What else have we got here? This, well, that's another operation. That's a spine, the result of a spine operation, one of the 6 I've had. These are the chippings of a prolapsed disc in your spine.
Oh.
And the surgeon put them in there and gave them to me. And they've been there for years, just for fun. Well, the first thing I do when I come in is I always sweep my writing board clean, because it's full of little bits of rubber and stuff from the time before.
Yeah.
I make these boards myself so that I can get them exactly the right size. I put billiard cloth on the top.
Okay.
And on this board, of course, I wrote the last book that I finished, which incidentally is called Matilda.
Yeah, I read that book.
This
Matilda,
brilliant
before.
lovely little girl
And the movie.
has a
From
couple
the
of
1990s.
absolutely disgusting parents.
Uh-huh.
They watch television all the time they're at home. They eat their meals in front of television. And Matilda has to join them. She's forced to. She's only 5 years old.
I know.
Whereas actually, she is a reader of books, a lover of books.
I'm
There aren't any books in the house. She has to get them from the library.
I know.
The parents loan books. They tear them up when they see them.
I know. I'm a reader of books as
Another
well.
character in the story is the headmistress of the primary school she goes to. And she is a fierce, dreadful woman who picks little boys up by their ears and holds them up in the air when they can't decline their 2 times table, or by their hair. And she throws children over the fence in the playground and that sort of thing. She's a very fierce woman, indeed, the Trunchbull.
Yeah, the Trunchbull and Matilda.
For about 20 years, I've had a tiny little note in my notebook saying, do a story about a child who can make things move with her eyes alone. And I've kept looking at this over the years, and finally, a little over a year ago, I decided I'd have a go at it. And so I began to work out the plot of this child who did this. The brains are literally bursting out of her head to such an extent that she can, or discovers that she can, actually make things move. Like, for example, toppling a glass over at a distance. The first time Matilda discovers this power of hers, she gets angry with the headmistress, and the headmistress has a glass of water in front of her. And she stares at the glass of water and suddenly has a wish to tip it over into the headmistress's lap. And she feels the power suddenly surging behind her eyes. Her eyeballs actually grow hot and hotter and hotter. And the power surges up, and she can actually feel as though thousands of tiny little invisible arms with hands on the ends of them are reaching out towards the glass to push it over. And then she begins very seriously to concentrate on pushing the glass over. And she sees it just wobble a little bit and start to tip. And she pushes harder with her eyes and harder. And suddenly, over it goes.
Oh, the glass broke, but I think he has another one.
Writer Roald Dahl, talking all about his new book, which is Matilda, and the illustrations are by Quentin Blake. This is the book here. Would you like to win a signed copy? Yes, I know you would, Gordon. Right, there is, in fact, a signature inside this one. So there we are. Have a look at that. Now, here is the question. Matilda is Roald Dahl's latest heroine. Okay, because you just saw that. He's only written 2 other books, children's stories, which centre on girls. One of those girls, only one of those girls is named. Okay? Which is she? And what is the title of the book? Quite a complicated one, that. I'll read it really slowly for you once again. It's Matilda is Roald Dahl's latest heroine. He's only written 2 other children's stories that centre on girls. Only one of those girls is named. Who is she? And what is the title of the book?
I know about it.
Okay, the address is going live. BBC Television, London W12, 8QT. Once more going live. BBC.
Well, okay guys, that's all for my 2 videos where I watch some videos of Roald Dahl being interviewed. The first one is Pebble Millet one, and the second one is from Going Live. Yeah, and I like how Roald Dahl talks about like his life and what he's doing as a children's author. Yeah, I loved all of his books and the movies when I was a kid, like The BFG, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches, and many others. What else there that I've read? Oh yeah, The Twits as well, and George's Marvelous Medicine. I also know that one of Roald Dahl's stories were or being like used in an episode of Jack and Ori. Yeah, I do know Jack and Ori. I've watched it when I was little, but I've never watched it all. I've only watched one, and that would be where actor Rick Mail reads George's Marvelous Medicine. Yeah, I used to watch that, like, maybe all the time when I was little. If I can make a review on this, then I'll show you, yeah, my favorite scenes where Rick Mail narrates and all. Yeah. And I've seen, like, most of Roald Dahl's movies, like the BFG, like both the animated and live-action version, Matilda, the 1996 one, The Witches as well, the 1990s version, and James and the Giant Peach, a Disney film that was made in 1996, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but with 3 film versions like Willy Wonka, the remake, and the Wonka film from 2023. Yeah. I like maybe all of them, but I like the original one with Gene Wilder, but I'd rather not. I'm just not going to be even bothered to watch the remake of The Witches from 2020. The original version from 1990 will always be the best. Yeah, and I do know, I've heard of Tales of the Unexpected, a TV show that Roald Dahl wrote most of his books, but maybe I'll do a commentary reaction to the series one day. Yeah, hopefully I'll do it. But yeah, anyways guys, so such a good video, yeah. Also, there might be some interviews where Quentin Blake was being interviewed. Yeah, maybe I'll react to it as well, but not all of them, yeah. Yeah, Quentin Blake was a friend of Roald Dahl and helped him, like, to illustrate. Well, Roald Dahl, like, he wrote the words in the books, but Quentin Blake also he does the illustrations, but yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be taking rest. It's like 4:26 in the afternoon, yeah. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, you can like it, or you can dislike it if you don't find it interesting yet. And as always, guys, yeah, please make sure to subscribe for more videos coming from me. Yeah, I made another video where I watched a video of Roald Dahl on this, like, episode called Office Life from 1998. Yeah, I'll probably post it around Roald Dahl Day, because it's on the 13th of September, I think. Yeah, the year that he was born, and yeah, not only is he my favorite author, but I have a couple as well, like Dr. Seuss and Linley Dodge, the author of Harry McClary, yeah. I'll make a review in those one day as my favorites, but yeah. And I'll get to be reading the rest of David Williams' books and Enid Blyton as well. Sorry if I pronounced her last name wrong. But yeah, that's all I have to say to everyone. Yeah, goodbye everyone. Peace out, and I love you all. Bye.